Hello everyone, I am Mohammed Saeed Harib and we're here live at this amazing location here in Al Qasr Hotel, and today I'll be asking many questions that came from you to Godolphin's 3 retained jockeys. Let's go. Hey Mickael, welcome to Dubai, and man, you have some good horses to look forward to when in the carnival and hopefully in World Cup night.
Yeah, thanks. Now very exciting to be here. Thanks for inviting, and yeah, exactly. Some very nice horse to ride for World Cup night.
Yes.
So yeah,
That's
look
awesome.
forward to Caesar. Yeah.
Well, let's dive right in because I have a lot of questions for you guys, and let me start. One second. So, first question is, what was your greatest moment riding for Godolphin?
I probably would say the Breeders' Cup winner with Talismanic.
Yes.
With the age now, I feel I more appreciate my win. I understand a little bit more how it's like to win a big race. And Talismanic is such a nice horse. He always really deserves to win his big race. So I would say it's, I think it's a race I really appreciate the more and understand the most as well.
And was that your first Breeders' Cup win?
Yeah, it was my first Breeders' Cup trip as well.
Nice.
So now it was really good.
Ah, that's awesome. So 3 things.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, awesome. Throughout your racing, basically, throughout your racing history and riding all these horses, what was your, let's say, most favorite horse? He doesn't have to be a Group 1 winner, by the way. Yeah?
He's not a Group 1 winner. It's called Simon de Montfort.
All right.
He's a Godolphin horse. He's the first horse with the one I ride my first listed race, win my first listed race, win my first Group 3 race, and ride my first Group 1.
Wow.
And
Oh, so yeah, you went on a journey with this horse.
Exactly. So I ride him for his first start to his nearly his last start in France. After that, I went to Godolphin in England and to Dubai. And the good thing with him, his Highness after that gave the horse to me.
Oh wow.
So now I've got the horse in France at home with me.
Oh, that's quite a story.
Yeah, so it's a good story.
That's an amazing story. And well, that's basically a Godolphin horse then.
It is, yeah. It is.
Awesome.
Yeah, very good.
Cool. So the next question will be, okay, so which from the Godolphin horses that you currently ride you think has the most potential to again like do something? Again, he doesn't have to be one of the big horses. It's a horse you've sat on and you thought, you know what, this horse is quite awesome.
Well, we've got few very nice 2 years old at home. I will first come in my mind is Mind Mapping, sorry.
Mind Mapping.
Get bid first time out, but looks to have a very big potential. So yeah, really look forward to seeing him. And the second one, I think, at the moment, I think is the best. It's called Wooten.
Wooten.
Godolphin bought it after his first start in France. And he's with Alex Pantal in France. I think he's a proper horse.
Proper horse.
Yeah, he's got everything to be a very good horse. He's strong. He's got good mentality.
Gives you that good feeling.
Very good feeling, and he's an uncomplicated horse. He won first time out in France. Second time, just not much on friction as well, just to see how his would be comportment because he was very green first time out, and the pace was good. Just been relaxed for 4th position and win easy on the bridle. So he's gonna aim for the French Guineas.
Yes.
So I think at the moment I would say he's the horse we see the most.
And so you chose the 2-year-olds, and from the current bunch.
Well, we know them, but like Clog of Stars, Talismanic, they are two Group 1 winners.
Yes.
They're gonna get big race this year. It's gonna be a main, I would say maybe a main racing years. Cloak of Stars finished second in York, get beat by the Superstar Enable. It's gonna aim for the Shema Classic in Dubai. He's a big potential horse. We can see from him a big improvement in the 2 years old. He used to be king horse over 7 furlong. Now he can run mile and a half and be relaxed.
And do you think he'll be suited by Dubai? He likes to. We never know.
We never know.
You never know.
We never know. We know a walk at night is always very animate. A lot of firework, different atmosphere.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
hopefully
He'll enjoy that.
Yeah, hopefully he can just enjoy it.
Awesome. So let's jump into the next question. We kind of answer, we're kind of answering many of them on the go, so that's awesome. So before we started filming, we've been talking about like the countries you visited and you rode on. This is a question from New Zealand, so they are asking if you've been to New Zealand or you have ridden in New Zealand.
No, I've never been to New Zealand.
Nor Australia.
No Australia at all.
But you love your racing in Japan, I heard.
Yeah, I love racing in Japan. It's a nice country. Atmosphere is very good, and the quality of the horses are, for myself, I think is very good as well.
And how does racing around the world compare to racing in Dubai?
It's different because in Dubai is only a short meeting.
Yes.
And I would say Medan Carnival, you have a minimum of rating to have. So I mean, the quality of the horses have to be good as well.
Yes.
So I would say it's a concentration of nice horse to ride during 2.5 months.
Yes.
So it's I would say it's one of the biggest meeting in the world.
And the Medan itself, the track is you know like a very fair track for you guys.
The turf is very fair. It's very hard, I would say. And the only difference with Europe is we got a dirt track.
Yes.
And same, we have to use to ride on the dirt because something we doesn't do in Europe. So yeah, that's a big difference between France and Europe.
Awesome.
Europe and Dubai, sorry.
So hopefully one day in New Zealand. Let's
Hopefully
take a
one day,
Godolphin
but
horse
I'm also
there.
all black.
So, tell me something. What is like the 3 main attributes that a jockey must have to survive? To be honest with you, in this kind of sport.
I would say control your stress for the big event. The weight.
Yes.
With knowledge of the horses. And yeah, I would say.
So coming back to the weight, wait for that. What do you do to maintain your weight? What kind of like
quite
regime?
lucky with the weight, so I just try to eat normally with no excess. I mean, I'm doing, I won't say a lot of gym, but I'm quite often in the gym.
So a lot of cardio there?
Well, yeah, cardio. I like to run. I like to do bicycle.
Yes.
So yeah, it's kind of thing will help to maintain my weight.
Yes.
But like I say, I'm quite.
But coming to Dubai, it's quite hard because you only guys race in the weekend.
Yes.
So in France, maybe every day this helps. But how do you keep it together in Dubai?
Yeah, in Dubai, the good thing is the heat, the hot.
Yeah.
Like I mean, as soon as you go running outside, you sweat quite quickly, and you lose your weight quite quickly. But I mean, in Dubai, as we got a little bit more of time to control our weight. I mean, if we don't do anything stupid during the week, and we keep keeping a usual training. For myself, my weight is stabilized, even better than in France.
Wow. And when do you let yourself all out? It's like, come on, let's bring the burger.
I would say even if I go, like you say, burger and Coca-Cola and everything, my weight maybe is gonna go up for 2 kg max.
Okay.
So I'm not someone who will get big, very heavy like some of the boys. But I like to eat well. I don't like really all the Coca-Cola and all stuff. So
you got yourself into a rhythm.
Yeah, just need to find a rhythm and keep going on that.
And you won the World Cup, the Dubai World Cup on board Monte Rosso. Now, what made that horse our Dubai World Cup horse? Like, is because Monte Rosso is a horse that kind of loved Dubai.
Yeah, exactly. Monte Rosso used to love Dubai. It used to be a very good horse. I mean, in Europe, I think he finished fourth of Irish Derby, or he won a prep race in Ascot or Group 2. No, it was a good horse. The good thing as well is at this year it wasn't a dirt track. It was
Yes, it's
Tapeta.
synthetic. Yeah.
It was synthetic, so I think that's a big help as well. I mean,
Tell me something. The now that it's changed to a dirt course, the kickback on you guys and it changed dramatically. I think the riding style, as I said in Maidan, on the dirt.
yeah, completely. I mean, we have to ride on the dirt completely different than we ride on a synthetic or on a turf. I mean, we learn from the school, break well at the gate, give a chance to our horse, feel comfortable in the rhythm. But if you do that on the dirt, you lost your chance straight away.
Wow.
I mean, you have to be very fast at the gate, get a good position, be very handy out of the kickback. I mean, for Dubai, because the track is a little bit heavy. Well, the sand of the track is a little bit heavy, and so when it came out of the foot of the horse, it's quite painful, and most of the horse doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It hurts. So you can see most of the time the horse who won the race, they are 1, 2, 3.
They're the less dirtiest horses.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very rare to see horses come from behind. There is, yeah,
Yes.
of course, but I would say if you get 100 race, it would be 85 horses come from the front who won the race.
Yeah. And tell me something. Speaking about tracks, like which track is the nastiest track for you? Like you don't like that track. It's the trickiest track in Europe generally.
It's hard to say, but I would say for me, the track who's harder to win a race is Ascot.
It's Ascot.
Yeah, you need a good horse. You cannot go in a race with a bad horse over there.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it's very selective track,
Yes.
and
But the track itself is forgiving. Like you would compare it to Epsom, for example, where you have to go like left, right, up, down.
yeah, but even Epsom, sometimes you didn't see the favorite win a race. I would
No.
say most of the time Ascot the favorite win a race because it's a fair track, and the little. I mean, if your horse is not good enough, he's not good enough.
Yes.
No, you cannot do anything about that.
Yes.
Compared to France or somewhere else, sometimes you see the favorite finish third. Well, it happened as well in Ascot, but I think there is a concentration of
Good horses
Good horse,
there.
Ascot, yeah.
There. And tell me something. Before you start the race, of course, there's this. Before you go up on the horse, there's this mini meeting that happens where we see the trainer giving you instructions. And how important is that? And how important is the feedback after that when you come back?
I mean, it's very important the time we go out before to jump on the horse because I would say 80% of the time we didn't set on the horse before.
Yes.
So the horse is like a car, I would say. It's like one way to drive it. But sometimes it's good to have instruction like your horse doesn't like to hit the front too early, your horse is hanging left under the pressure, your horse likes to travel behind the horse, he likes to minimize the effort.
So all that information will be given to you before?
Yeah, exactly. So without this part of the race, I would say, it's easy to lose a race.
And I'm sure, like when you're given these kind of instructions, and you never know what happens in the race, and sometimes you find yourself like, oh my God, I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, I would say most of the time, well, it's always good to have this instruction like that. If it's going the right way, you know exactly what to do. When it's going in the opposite way, you have just to improvise.
Have you ever been in a race where it all went bad and then you did it your own way and you said like, you know what, I will make a move and I will surprise everyone and it works?
Well, yeah, it works.
And if it
few
doesn't,
times,
then you're
and
like
it
in
doesn't
deep trouble.
sometimes as well. So no, it's,
Yeah.
you have to get your responsibility. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yes.
Sometimes you come back and train very unhappy.
Yeah.
But that's work.
Do the trainers leave a horse in your care, like saying, you know the horse so well, do your thing?
Yeah, it happened a lot of time as well. I mean, when you rode the horse 1-2 times, it doesn't have to get more instruction after that
No.
because you know the horse. But I mean, it's important when and at this part, I think the feedback is more important.
Yes.
My horse wasn't like last time. I feel in better condition.
Yes.
Travel better, win easier. Well, a lot of things maybe need a furlong over, maybe one furlong more. Maybe it would be easier, better to ride him closer to the pace.
Yes.
There is few instruction that we can change after when we know horses. But for the first time you rode the horse, I think it's very important to get instruction from the trainer and owner, and just to understand how is the horse and what is. You can watch the video as well.
Yes. Do you watch?
Yeah,
watch
a
the
lot.
race
You
replays?
have to watch a lot. Yeah. In France, because the race is very tactical.
Yes.
You get very unlucky very quickly, so you have to watch the race. When you didn't ride the horse first time, you have to watch the race
Watch the
and
race.
see how it's going.
So, to I think to wrap up now everything here, I have two questions for you. How has been the carnival for you so far?
It's been very good, to be fair. I'm very lucky to get on a horse like Heavy Metal.
Yes.
Such a nice horse. Love
Yes.
the dirt.
You won last time out, huh?
He-
Big
he won-
margins.
He won very easily last time.
That's like a horse that loved the dirt, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is, I would say, a common horse. He's not like stronger than anyone, or he's just like a common horse, but loves the dirt. Very fast out the gate, so it could lead easy the race.
Yes.
And we know how important it is to be in front in the bike.
Yes. Now we have to wait for this very nice plane to go. Last question for Mickael. I will put you on the spot. Go on. So my last question for you here: if I am a very big fan of Godolphin and I have to choose between two horses, talismanic, sorry. Let me repeat. You know the question now. Talismanic, Nick. Okay. So if I'm a big Godolphin fan and I've joined the club Godolphin and I have horses that I need to take, if I have to choose, not you, between two horses that might have the better chance of the two, which one shall I go for, Talismanic or Cloth of Stars?
It's a very hard question.
Depends on the races they will be in, no?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would have tried Talismanic on the dirt. It's a big question mark.
Yes.
But if you like it,
He's by he's by a sire who loves dirt, basically.
so could be a big surprise.
We're waiting for that surprise. Well, Mickael, it was such a pleasure to talk to you. You gave us a lot of information about the horses we love, and all the best with your coming rides in the Dubai Racing Carnival and of course the Dubai World Cup.
Thanks very much. It was a really pleasure to be there, and very exciting for the World Cup night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey James, it's a pleasure to sit with you today and talk a little bit about your experience in Dubai and with Godolphin. Of course, I think Dubai means something special for you because you had your first Group 1 win here.
No, I mean, Dubai means a hell of a lot to me. It's kind of where my riding career really took off, so to speak. I was lucky enough to win the Dubai Duty Free in 2012 on a horse called Cityscape, and that really
Captured the essence of Dubai.
unbelievable. Yeah, it was amazing, and it's really taken my career to a new level. It was a springboard, if you like, to greater things, and I'd like to say we are probably a contributing factor to sort of climbing the ladder or climbing the ranks in the jockey rankings to end up where I am now. Lucky and privileged to be part of the jockey colony of Godolphin.
And just recently you had a win, of course, on board Jungle Cat. How was that ride and having probably the first winner in the carnival?
And no, it was brilliant. Obviously, the carnivals, the Dubai World Cup carnival was very tough, very competitive. So I was fortunate enough that Charlie had a couple of runners in the Al Fahidi Fort that night, and William obviously rode Dubai, and I was lucky to get on Jungle Cat, and he's to people out here in Dubai. I think he's well known. He's won at the carnival quite a few times now, so he's quite well known over here. And no, it was fantastic. The race went very easy, and he won no problem. It was like you say, really nice to get the first winner of the carnival.
Yeah, Jungle Cat always like is there and out and about. You can like, almost there. And tell me something. Riding horses for like, if you ride the horses in Europe, for example, they come with a certain form in Dubai, and then from Dubai they take that certain form back to Europe. Do you see a huge shift when you ride these horses? Like, let's say, oh, this is a Dubai horse definitely, and this is, let's say, a European kind of season horse.
Yeah, no, definitely. There are some horses that come out to, they'll have a good campaign back in the UK and Europe, and they'll come out to Dubai and they'll step it up a gear. Whether it's the sun on their back or the different training methods, and vice versa. Some horses won't take to it as well out here, but when they go back to Europe, they'll step up their game. So yeah, it certainly works both ways. But talking of Jungle Cat, he runs at a solid level back in the UK, but when he comes out to Dubai, I think he's like the majority of us. When the weather's beautiful like this, bit of sun on his back, he really thrives and takes his standard to a new level.
And how does it compare riding on the dirt here in Dubai? Because Mickael said something like you have to go out of the gate and quickly find the position.
Yeah, I guess I've never ridden on dirt over in America, but I guess it's kind of the same thing. It's very speed driven. Speed is a massive factor. I think gate speed, getting out the stalls as fast as possible, and the way the dirt's been riding here in Dubai, it seems like it's very difficult to come from the back. Obviously, you're getting a lot of the sand kicked in your face. The kickback's pretty tough for horse and jockey, so I think it's very much speed orientated. Out the gate as fast as you can and try and secure a good pitch up near the front and out of the kickback. If you're not on the lead, try and stay out of the kickback. And
what was your biggest moment with Godolphin? And it does not have to be a Group 1 winner. Like that, there's a moment riding for Godolphin where he goes, you know what? Maybe I got my first winner. Maybe it's like something I did with the horse and I connected.
Well, I guess
personally.
I guess I would have to say receiving a phone call to come and have a meeting with Godolphin about potentially signing a contract to join the team. That would have to be a massive achievement, and to join Godolphin, it seemed surreal at the time. I mean, growing up as a young boy, all I ever wanted to be was a jockey, dreaming about putting on the royal blue silks of Godolphin and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. And
yes.
The day it came true, it was pretty surreal. I'm sure William would say the same. You do dream about these days, and when they actually come true, it's quite difficult to actually take it in.
Comprehend that, or
yeah, exactly.
And what was your let's say the most special Godolphin win?
I think Barney Roy at Royal Ascot this year was quite special. Obviously, we were unlucky in the Guineas. I felt, if things had been a little bit different, he might have got his head in front that day. So to prove what he could do at Royal Ascot in the St James's Palace Stakes, I thought it was a phenomenal performance. And any winner at Royal Ascot's pretty nice, especially when you ride one for Godolphin in one of the top races of the whole week.
And do you think that horse was mainly a miler or a mile and a quarter horse? Because you guys, been going here and there with him.
I think he's very versatile. I mean, we mustn't forget, although he did run at a mile and a quarter and he just got beat in the Eclipse.
Yes.
He ran a good race in the Juddmonte, finishing third there, over a mile and a quarter. But I think, we can't forget at a mile, he did break the track record for the round mile at Royal Ascot in the St James's Palace that day, and I think his sectionals were phenomenal. So although we did stretch him to a mile and a quarter, he had a hell of a lot of speed.
And from all the horses you've ridden for Godolphin, which one stands out for you, like down the memory lane?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to ride some pretty good ones for Godolphin.
There must be that one.
Yeah, well, I've ridden Ribchester before. He was pretty special. We won the Moulin with him over in France this season when William was off injured.
Yes.
He was a pretty special horse, very solid, always gave his all, very tough.
Yes.
He never ran a bad race for us, really. Barney Roy, like I say, that the feeling he gave me that day in the St James's Palace at Royal Ascot was phenomenal. Night of Thunder winning the Lockinge was a great day. I'm sure he'll.
It's a great start for the season.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was my first sort of Group 1 winner for Godolphin, so that was quite a special day.
And we were speaking of about Wild Illusion.
Yeah,
which is
she's exciting, very exciting.
So from the ranks also, that's a nice 2-year-old that you sat on.
Very nice, yeah. I mean, she climbed a big, she climbed big steps in a very short period of time.
Yes.
Obviously, going from her maiden win at Yarmouth, stepping up to a Group 3, and not winning but running well, and then, Charlie stepped her up again for a Group 1, the Prix Marcel Boussac, and it was very.
He tends to throw them in the deep end, no?
Well, you have to be ambitious
yes.
with these, and he's been justified more often than not. So.
Yes.
The horses really come up trumps when they do step up, and she's a very exciting filly for next year.
Do you think she's a classic prospect?
I think so. I think, I'm not sure what Charlie's plans are, but for me, she will stay beyond a mile. So I feel she could come into her own when she gets over to over a trip like a mile and a half. So she's very well balanced. She has a big heart. She's very straightforward, very easy to ride, and I think the Oaks could be her biggest chance of winning a classic.
So coming to Dubai, of course you guys just raced during the weekend, and staying in shape, keeping your weight basically at a level where you want it to be. Is it harder here to maintain in Dubai?
I find it is. I mean, I have to work very hard at that, as most jockeys do, but I feel I have to work that little bit harder, as I'm sort of 5'10" and.
Yes.
Quite probably one of the tallest jockeys, especially out here in the UAE, if not in back home in the UK. So it is very tough. I find it slightly tougher out here because, like you say, we only race once a week, whereas back in the UK we race every day. So you're constantly keeping your weight down. I know that it might sound here you're only doing it one day a week, but yes. I think when you're doing it every day, you're only taking off. You're only losing 1 or 2 pounds. Was when
the heat helps apparently.
Yeah, the heat helps out here, but also I think you drink a lot more water and take on a lot more fluid out here to save yourself from being dehydrated. So I think your body holds on to your body retains water over here a lot more than it would do back home.
And what would you do like what's your favorite thing to do in Dubai while you're not racing?
So
or
my day usually consists of, we ride out in the mornings. We usually finish pretty early, around 9 o'clock. So we usually come back, have a bit of breakfast, head to the beach. Then usually when we get back from the beach, go to the gym, have a nice workout, have a swim, and then relax. Or if we don't go to the gym and if we do the gym in the morning, we'll go and play golf in the evening when the temperature's just dropped a little. Probably only play 9 holes, as 18 my concentration levels don't last for that long, so 9 holes is enough. But no, it's great to have a hobby out here, and golf is it's a great way of getting out, and it's pretty good for you.
And how much of valid instruction do you get before jumping on a horse, and how much is it important to have that feedback come back to the trainer, and that kind of communication system, how important is that?
Yeah, with any jockey and trainer combination, you have to work together. It's about everyone putting ideas in together and coming up with a plan. So even in the weeks leading up to a race, like say, I don't know, Super Saturday or World Cup night, or any big race day, your feedback in the morning between the trainer communicating with you and you communicating with the trainer, coming up with a plan, whether it's targeting a horse at a particular race or a certain way of riding the horse.
Yes.
Usually on the night, by the time you get to the race night, it's usually you've spoken with the trainer and communicated well, and you usually have a plan by then. So actually on the night it's all pretty much done, and you know what you're doing. But
the problem is sometimes the gate opens and then you find yourself where you should not be, and you go like, now what?
Exactly, yeah. Well, you have
what happens then? Like, how much of it is you?
I guess, yeah, it's like anything. You have a plan A, but you have to have a couple of plans up your sleeve, because you do know things can change. But I think I find you have to think very fast. You have to think on your feet if things do go wrong. Like you say, if you plan to be very prominent in a race and then the horse steps very slow and you end up being out the back, you just have to change your plan. But I think one thing you have to have is great confidence in yourself, that you are on that horse because of the trainer or because you work for Godolphin. The whole reason you were picked by Godolphin is because they think you're good enough to ride
On
the
merit,
horse,
yes.
or the trainers picked you to ride that horse because they think you're good enough. And I think that's what you have to have great self-belief in that you are in the situation because of what you've done in the past and what you're going to continue to do. So you have to be very fast thinking.
Yes.
And I think the best way of making the best choices in a race is to have that. If you have that great confidence behind you, it gives you every chance of making the right choice because you're not doubting yourself.
And how much of, basically sometimes you'll have multiple horses from the same trainer and you'll be riding for the same trainer. How much of it is strategy as well? Like how much of it is like, you know, you guys stick together, you guys let him, you know, go in front. Sometimes that plan never works, like, but how much strategy goes into racing in general?
Oh, very much so. I mean, you have to, it's very, especially from my time I spent 5 months in Australia with Godolphin last year, and I think that really, tactics is massively important over there. All the tracks are very much the same. There's very short straights out there and quite tight turns, so it's very tactical. I think from my time down there, it really
gave you
made me really switch on, and you have to be ultra fast. Everything happens so quick there, that a lot more quicker than it would happen in races here or back in Europe. So it really sharpened me, and it really I felt like it really raised my game.
And even the riding style is different.
It's very, very different, very different. I didn't change my riding style, but my tactical brain definitely improved. But you're right, it's very. If we have 3 or 4 in a race, of course you have to figure out, you don't want to get in each other's way, but at the same time you're all out there to win. So
yes.
you're not really giving each other favours, so to speak, but as long as you don't hinder one of your teammates, then it's very important.
Speaking of tracks, because it's in the list of questions, like what's the nastiest track? Like, it's like, oh God, I won't go there. I don't want to go again a race there.
It's
for you personally.
For me personally, I mean, there's some very unique tracks.
Yeah, let's call them unique tracks.
Yeah, so let's say unique, not the worst tracks. I'd say maybe the most unique track at home would have to be places like Brighton. I don't know if you've seen Brighton, but it's a very tough track. You come down a very steep hill, and then it's in a very unique configuration. Epsom's very unique.
Yes.
Very unique. The way the camber is. It's.
I heard Goodwood was also.
Goodwood's very tough, especially during Glorious Goodwood, during the Glorious Goodwood Festival, where there's big fields. A lot of, you can have like we spoke about plans, but a lot of it goes down to luck. If you get the gaps, you get the gaps. If you don't, it can be disastrous.
Yes.
You can't. I think with Goodwood, you can't go trying to look for gaps. You have to just be very patient, and if it happens, it happens.
Yes.
And I think the best way of riding Goodwood is, you can't be afraid to get beat, and you have to accept that if it doesn't happen, you can't make it happen at Goodwood.
Yes, and I think with Meydan, it's a little bit more of a flat track. It's like
Meydan's beautiful.
All the ingredients you need to have a fair race.
Meydan's beautiful. The turf track is for me the best turf track in the world. It's very, very flat, very fair. You can come from, you can make the running. You can come from the back. You can.
Does it matter which side of the rail you're in?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's without a doubt the fairest track I've ridden on in the world.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So I'll ask you this question because these are the fun questions. So, what are the trickiest rides you've ever had?
The trickiest rides.
The trickiest rides.
As in the horses.
As in the horse. As in like you know what? Like this horse needs that kind of attention.
We're lucky, I suppose, with the horses I've had at Godolphin, especially my big winners for Godolphin. They've all been super easy, really. They've been very relaxed and easy horses to ride. I mean, things that I'd say the trickiest. The trickiest races to ride. I would say Barney Roy, not himself, but Barney Roy's race in the 2000 Guineas last year. That was very difficult. And
why was that difficult?
Because they narrowed the track to stop. In the previous 2,000 guineas, the field has split because the track's so wide.
Yes.
So they narrowed the
To keep
course,
them together.
and then they had a cutaway about 2.5 furlongs from home, and it seemed a massive advantage during that meeting to be on the stands rail. We were drawn out in the middle of the track on Barney Roy. He's a horse who had to relax. We couldn't use him up too much early. We had to just get him to relax. He's very, he's very inexperienced at that stage of his career. It was a very messy race to ride. The horses from the wide draws came over. They got on the rail and slowed the pace up. We went so slow through the early part of the race and even through the middle part of the race.
Did you anticipate that? Because you knew beforehand that
We knew beforehand, but we couldn't really do anything about it really, because, like I say, he was a horse who needed to relax. So we had to get behind a horse, and you can imagine then the wide horses came over in front of us, really steadied the pace. It pushed us even further back.
Yes.
And then when the lead horses got to the false rail, they just dropped down to the rail, sprinted away, and we had a few traffic problems trying to get out. Newmarket's a very unique track with the dip, and
you kind of almost said, like, this is so bitter. I want my revenge and Royal Ascot. Like,
yeah, well,
you
that's
made
exactly
it like
what
just
happened.
that more.
That's exactly what happened. It
potent.
was very. I knew he was capable of much better, and maybe if I had a different plan on the day, it would have been different. But I certainly felt that the way the race was ran, the way the track was, where with the dip. I mean, Barney Roy is quite a tall horse, and he did struggle with the dip a bit. I did feel like it was one that got away, and it was like you say, when we went to Royal Ascot, it was very, very much revenge time, and it was really nice to see what Barney Roy put the race to bed and show what he could do.
Yeah, and that was an amazing race. I remember cheering from the cheering from the stand rails. Beyond Godolphin though, and in your racing career, which horse is the horse that stands out the most for you? Like your special horse?
Well, I had an amazing 18 months. I was with Roger Charlton, who really helped my career and really get me into the I say the big time, but propelled me up into these Group 1 races. He showed great faith in me. I was lucky enough to come across a horse like Al Kazim, who was by Dubai, a beautiful specimen. He really gave me. He was the first few Group 1 races I rode in. I rode in these races on Al Kazim. He gave me so much confidence, the horse, because he was so easy to ride, like a typical Dubai horse.
And he went to stud and came back and
won a Group 1 race again. Yeah, so
wow.
he was amazing. But for me, riding in them big Group 1 races on a horse like Al Kazim, he just made it quite an easy transition for me, because he was so relaxed. You could push the accelerator out of the stalls and then bring him back and he would relax, or you could come back and sit behind, and
he's just a Group 1 horse.
Just amazing horse to ride. So he'll always be very special to me, because, like I say, he made me feel comfortable and in my comfort zone riding in Group 1 races.
Yeah.
And then shortly after him, I joined Prince Khalid Abdullah, who I rode for Juddmonte for 18 months, and we had a very special horse there called Kingman. Who I would struggle to say I've ridden another horse like him. I've ridden some very good horses, but Kingman.
And again, Kingman in the Guineas also like.
Well, it was a very, very messy race. We spoke about the way the field split, and we were on different sides, and it just got very messy. But he was the same. He went to Royal Ascot, won the St James's Palace, and had a wonderful career. But that feeling he gave me, I've struggled to
feel it again.
I've felt some. I've ridden some amazing horses,
the special
but
horses
not quite.
When they come by,
Unbelievable. I mean, he was like, I've never driven a Formula 1 car, but I used to say at the time I can imagine what it would feel like. You go slow and then you put your foot down and it just takes off, and he was an amazing horse to ride, a supreme turn of foot.
Wow, man, that's awesome. Well, James, I wish you a great time here in Dubai as usual, and I hope you get to play the 18 holes and have the concentration in the golf. And more importantly, I wish you all the best with Godolphin, of course, and during the Dubai World Cup, and of course in Super Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Much appreciated.
Hey William, thanks for sitting with us today in this amazing venue. Here in Al Qasr, and man, you had an amazing season overall, and of course coming here to Dubai is I say always very special. What makes racing in Dubai very special?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And no, like you say, Dubai is very special for most people, and for many various reasons. But for Dubai, it's special for me because it's become my second home. I've been coming here for more than 10 years now, and I've had some great success here. Been fortunate to ride some great horses and won some great races. Also, I've really enjoying spending my winters here and really recharging the batteries and
Yes.
and
Because here you race like just on the weekend versus.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you race once a week, and look, it's a very important part of the year for us. But at the same time, we're not racing 7 days a week like we could be in Europe, and you just have a little bit more time for yourself, and you can really recharge the batteries for a busy European or a worldwide campaign come March.
Nice. Well, speaking of the Dubai and the Dubai World Cup, I remember seeing you dead last on Prince Bishop. I was like, oh my God, like that horse hates kickback, and then and seeing you there, and then coming and just the last furlong and doing what you did. Take me through that race.
But I rode him for the first time that winter in 2015, and I rode him first time in the round 2 Maktoum Challenge, and he did the same thing there. He dropped out of back and he flew home, finished second again, and he just didn't make it in time. They went at a slow pace, and he had a lot of ground to make up. And anyway, I knew he was a good horse, and then Saeed then prepared him for the round 3 Maktoum Challenge, and same thing happened there again.
He makes you work for it.
He makes you work for it really hard. But he was look, he's beaten by African Story, who was a previous World Cup winner as well. So it was a huge run. He was the horse to take out of the race in the round 3, and obviously then all roads led to the Dubai World Cup.
And it happened again.
And it happened again. And I remember before the race, Saeed came up to me and said, we got an inside draw. I think we were drawn 3, if I remember rightly. And I remember Saeed sort of saying to me, well, most horses it'd be a nice draw, but with him, he's going to drop out of the back of the TV and he's going to be covered in kickbacks. So, but look, he was a very courageous horse.
To do what he did.
He was in tip-top condition on the day, and the pace was very strong, so it gave him a chance to come into the race and finish the race strongly. And that's a race that I will obviously never forget, and it was one of the highlights of my career.
And that's the polar opposite of a horse you just won on recently, Goldtown, whereby he had that speed to really, as you said, work him in the beginning of the race, and then really, kick for home.
Yeah, I mean, he's a horse he's really thrived since he's come to Dubai, and look, he's a very exciting horse now. He's really, you would hope with his pedigree that he would adapt to the dirt racing, and he really has. He's lived up to his pedigree, or he's living up to his pedigree. He won first time out at Newbury as a 2-year-old. He won very well. I was very impressed with him. Then he ran a couple of times when the ground didn't quite suit him. So he's a pretty solid horse. He's not run a bad race yet.
And did he surprise you switching to dirt?
He pleasantly surprised me. He's been training very well on it, and obviously what he's done on the track here is nothing short of amazing. And obviously his win in the UAE 2000 Guineas was he gave me a great feeling. He gave me a great feel, and he's not an overly big horse, but he really covers the ground well, and he handles the dirt surface so well. So he really feels like he's kind of floating along rather than galloping along,
And you think there's been a lot of talk about the Kentucky Derby, and yes, we are supplementing for that race.
Yeah.
And you think he has the speed to go in the beginning, because I think they get loose in the beginning and then still maintain a speed and kick for home.
I mean, I've never ridden in the Kentucky Derby before myself, but I've seen many Kentucky Derbies, watched many Kentucky Derbies, and just like you said, I mean, it's a tough race, it's a rough race, and a good horse always wins it. But look, at this stage,
we can dream.
We can dream, of course, and it would be wonderful for His Highness to have a to have a horse of that caliber again, you know, and to go to the first Saturday of May in Churchill Downs with a live shot. And look, we hope, but obviously let's get UAE Derby out of the way first, and then we can rebuild.
And how has been the like your racing season this far? You've had 4 Group 1s, 2 on Wahid. You said 2 on Wahida, no?
One
on Wahida,
yeah.
And 1 on Subistu,
Yeah.
Subistu, and
Jacobs
Jacobs
and Ribchester.
and Ribchester. From the 4 of them, I think Ribchester is probably your favorite, or you?
Yeah, he's. I mean, they're all 4 of them. Every Group 1 win is very special for any person in horse racing. Anyone who has anything to do with horses in that category. But of course, Ribchester, you know, he was a very good horse to me, and he's a very exciting horse to ride. Very fast miler.
Yes.
And he's obviously gone to the title stud now, and you know, I really look forward to seeing his progeny. He's got all the attributes to be a great stallion. He has you know, a tough temperament, a good temperament with a lot of speed, which is very attractive.
And many of the questions I have here is asking about 2 things. In the carnival, what are the 3 horses that you are, you know, because many people are joining Club Godolphin and participating in the competition. Which are the 3 horses now that we've almost passed midway through the carnival? Which are the 3 horses to look out for?
Well, I did the Club Godolphin, my 3 picks, and I'm really sorry to everybody because I probably really should change them by now.
Now
really.
we're changing them to what?
Yeah.
If we are given a second chance.
But look, you know, obviously, you know, watching how Goldtown's progressed and how he performed last week in the Guineas was, you know, we haven't seen that very often.
Yes.
So he's a very, very obvious one, and I think he's a horse that everybody is following very closely now. And
Are you are on Blue Point tomorrow?
Blue Point runs. He's a Group 2 winner. We believe he's a Group 1 winner in waiting. We believe he's a Group 1 horse.
Yes.
He's going to have this race as a prep race for the Alcoa Sprint on World Cup night. That'll be his ultimate objective over here. And he's in good shape. He looks like he's really matured, and look, he's exciting.
And from the horses that are coming up and the 2-year-olds that some of us don't know about them, because you know, maybe he probably just won a maiden or she won a maiden. Like which horses that you've sat on that you look forward to riding next year?
Well, I think I'm in a quite fortunate position really, because you know I'm blessed with a nice stable, a good stable, and also we had you know, a lovely bunch of 2-year-olds last year, and they're going to be lovely 3-year-olds this year, and you know, we have a handful of them who performed at a high level. Obviously you have you know, Gayath, who won the Autumn Stakes. He's an exciting colt.
Yes.
He's got a lovely pedigree by Dubawi and out of a Galileo mare, so
That's nice.
that alone is quite exciting, and he showed the quality. He's wintering here in Dubai, and you know, I can see him being a nice middle distance type of horse this year. And I thought the filly that won the Marcel Boussac, you know,
Well,
she's
that's
Wild Illusion.
Wild Illusion.
She's a nice filly, you know, and she's always, whatever she was going to do as a 2-year-old, she's going to do better at 3, you know. And also then you have you know, horse like Massa,
Yes.
Glorious Journey.
Yes.
You know,
Masar is I have to say this. I named the horse.
Really?
Yes, because
Good
I had
name.
to name the
Yeah.
the activity thing, the course that they go through.
Yeah.
So I was very excited that when I saw him running, because he became like a group horse, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's awesome. I should name more.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. There are a few horses to look forward to for hopefully the next season.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, you got Magic Lily as well, who was 3rd in the Fillies Mile. You know, she's another nice filly, and they're all. What's so nice about it is, you know, they all seem to be horses that will progress with time and a good winter on their back, so they should come out as 3-year-olds even better.
So how did your life change after joining the Dolphin? Like, you know, they're more of an operation versus, you know, like a stable somewhere. Like they're more like they have runners and basically everywhere. So what did, you know, like how did that transition change William?
Well, I think you basically said it. I mean, I came, you know, I'd ridden for Godolphin, been lucky enough to ride for Godolphin before I joined them officially, and you know, I'd ridden some nice winners for them, and you know, I had winters in Dubai as well. But you know, I think when I joined Godolphin officially, it was, yeah, it changes because, like you say, it's not one stable. It's a global operation. It's a lot of people involved. You know, a lot of horses, and obviously His Highness and his family at the head. So
Yes.
you know, and it's you have to kind of have, you know, as a jockey or as an athlete, you know, you say you have to be all round. You know, you can't say I'm good at one thing and not so good at the other thing. You know,
Yeah,
the
you have to be
objective is
that team player.
you have to be good all round. You know, but I think from a personal point of view, I think in this job, I think I've really matured as a person as well, because of the commitments and the responsibility you have, because it is a worldwide brand, if you like. It's
Yes.
not a stable, it's a brand. It represents Dubai. You know, it's
Yes, and you're doing a lot of the media stuff, and you're doing a lot of the tactical, yeah, like and the racing as well. So it's like because I always found jockeys to be a little bit shy to talk to the camera, but you know, here you are, guys, and like you're doing an amazing job, like teaching us and the viewers a lot about what goes
well, you
into
know,
racing.
it's new. It's new for us, really, I suppose, because you know, the old school jockeys, they were reserved and quiet. You know,
Yes.
exactly, and. But you know, the thing is as well, what's in the back of our mind is that it's such a fluctuating game. You know, you're only as good as your last ride, and you know, you always look forward to the next race and next horse, and you want to do everything right 100%. But you know, I think the way that Godolphin are involving outside people and try and get interest from all aspects
Yes.
of people, ages, everything, nations. You know, it's
Getting
really,
people engaged.
yeah, it's very important for horse racing worldwide, and I think it's good for Godolphin, but it's something that horse racing should really thank Godolphin for.
And what's your most special memory with Godolphin? And it does not have to be a Group 1 winner. Huh? It's just some things that happened, and you went like, you know what, I did something, and this meant something for me personally. You know, always winning that Group 1 is amazing, but you know, there's sometimes you just rode in a maiden and you go like, I'm so proud right now.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, you know, it's riding winners. That's the main objective. Producing good horses. That's the main objective. You know, when His Highness comes to the races, we produce good horses for him, and you know, they're his own breeding.
Yes.
And for His Highness to see his own colours represented at the world's best races, that is the main objective. But I get a huge satisfaction from that. But also just doing the day-to-day stuff, like, you know, going into the stable and training in the mornings. You know, when it's a little bit more quiet, there's not so many people there, and the weather's a bit fresh, and
Yes.
you know, you can kind of see the future.
Yes.
In the mornings, and it's the unknown that excites you, because they could be anything.
Yes.
The horses could be anything quality-wise.
But is there a highlight though? Is there something like a, let's say a race you won, or like something that like with Godolphin, a horse that's stuck in your head and that will always be a memory, special one?
Yeah, I mean, there's many special ones, and you know, we could probably sit here all afternoon really, you know. But you know, what springs to mind first is obviously last season, and you know, when Ribchester won the Queen Anne.
Yes.
You know, that was a really special race on a special horse, and he was awesome that day, and you know, His Highness was there with his whole family and friends, and it was just a wonderful day, and Royal Ascot was a wonderful meeting for us all, and you know, to see everybody so excited and you know,
that's where you want things to happen, no?
I mean, Royal Ascot is our shop window. That's where you want to show your stuff. That's where you want to show your ability as a horseman, as a jockey, as a horse. You know,
Yes.
as it's our Olympics
Yes.
in England, and you know, to sort of, I think the Queen Anne is the second race on the first day,
Yes.
and he was kind of my ace horse of the week, and
You had to get that one right.
to
Yeah.
just to get
It helps afterwards.
exactly, you know. But we still did well afterwards. But that was a real special one, and then obviously then, you know, rounding off the season with a great win at the Breeders' Cup in the Affiliate Met Turf with Wahida was fantastic. It was a great training performance by Charlie Appleby, and you know, it was my first Breeders' Cup winner. So you know, when you have a first of something, it means a lot. So
Yes, yes. Especially on a comeback horse, huh?
for sure, she's a very special filly and very talented. And it was just, again, it was one of those races where you know, if I dreamt the race 10 times, it couldn't have gone any better, you know. So no, it was great. It was on the international stage,
Yes.
in an environment which is hard to get the winners at.
Yes, and outside Godolphin realm, of course, you've ridden for a few years, and there must be a horse as well that you have a very special memory with.
Yeah, again, I mean,
Your favourite horse
yeah,
ever?
the favourite horse ever. I mean, it's very hard to pinpoint one, isn't it? I mean, I've been lucky in Godolphin now for 4 years now, nearly 4 years, that, you know, kind of ridden some wonderful horses, and you know, many of them have become my favourites. So, but obviously my association with Nathaniel was a strong one. You know, John Gosden trained him beautifully, and you know, he was a great horse, very, very tough horse. You know, a real top class horse at a mile and a quarter to a mile and a half.
And seeing Enable win, and you
Yeah.
go like, you know, I know the sire very well.
I'm getting to the stage of my career now where, you know, I can see some of the good horses I've ridden. They're sort of producing good horses as well. So both stallions and mares. So it's you know, it's a nice thing to see, really. And like you say, it's that little bit of emotional attachment to it.
Yes, there's some pride.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of course, there's many questions about what's your, let's say, which track is the trickiest track for you? We know Meydan is smooth and nice and all, but you know, you guys race in Europe, and like, you go like, oh, the race is there, and
Yeah.
it's a hard track for you. Which,
I mean, I think we have to adapt as jockeys who compete all over the world, on horses that compete all over the world. I think we have to adapt, and horse and jockey have to become one entity, really, and try and get around those difficult tracks. But I mean, English tracks, they're renowned to be
very unique.
different, unique, difficult. And Epsom, of course, is a very challenging track. It's a difficult track for horse and rider sometimes.
Yes.
And you need the right horse. It's, you know, especially the race like the Derby. It's the ultimate horse race. It's on a tough track. It comes early in the horse's career. It's early in the three-year-old career for the horse.
Does it leave a mark on a horse?
I suppose if a good horse, nothing will phase a good horse.
Yes.
You know, it definitely can leave a mark on some horses. It's a tough race. It's an end-to-end race, and it's a championship race.
Yes.
You know, the best horse wins, and there's no hiding place.
And you've obviously had huge success with dirt here in Dubai, riding in the dirt. How does it differ from riding on a turf track? Like, what do you do differently as a jockey?
Dirt racing, you know, I spent a couple of winters in America, and you know, dirt racing is all speed-based, basically, speed-based, and it's all about how you come out from the gates, the stalls. You know, the faster you're away, the quicker you're into your stride, and the quicker you're on the bridle, travelling well, the easier it is for you, and the nearer you can be to the pace without going too fast is the better. And obviously a big thing about the dirt as well, if you're behind, you get the kickback, you know.
Yes.
So, but
You know that very well
of
from your
course,
podcast.
exactly. But you know, there's always exceptions to the rules. You know, you get horses that can handle the kickback. If the pace is too strong up front, they will come late. So, you know, dirt racing is a slightly little bit different, but you know, it's still still, you know, the old fact that basically if you go the right pace, you
Yes.
will win from the front.
Yes.
If you go too fast,
Yes.
they will come from behind. You know, so
And how do you again, coming back to horses like Gold Town, how do you know a good horse? And you go, you know what, this is a good horse on the dirt, and of course he shows you that, and
Yeah.
this is a good horse on the turf, and you never knew.
It's true. I mean, of course, you know, the example you use in Gold Town. I mean, he's by the late great Street Cry.
Yes.
So you know, he was a
Bred for
fantastic racehorse, won the Dubai World Cup himself very easily. You know, he had a through American dirt pedigree. So, and Gold Town is by out of a very speedy mare. She raced over 5 and 6 furlongs in the UK on turf.
yes.
But you know, it's that he's got the perfect mix of speed and the dirt pedigree. So really, you can say he's got the perfect pedigree for the style of racing.
That's great. That's great. So, to wrap up, now that we're coming very close to Super Saturday and we're coming very close to the World Cup itself, and of course we never know from now till then what horses will be where. How confident are you that the season capper will be a good one?
I'm confident.
I'm confident.
I'm hopeful. You know, I'm a lot of things, but you know, like you say, there's a few hurdles to be sort of jumped first, and then we just need to get every horse there in tip-top shape. But you know, I think this year we have a good draft of horses over here. They've been performing well all carnival.
Yes.
Even the ones that haven't won, they've run well, right up to form. So you'd have to say at this stage, you know, things are looking pretty good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, William, I hope you have that amazing season capper, and I hope if you are going to win the World Cup, it should not be as hard-working as you did with Prince Bishop, but all the best.
Thank you very much.
With the rest of the horses. And I've been told to ask you which hotel is your favorite here in Dubai.
My favourite hotel in Dubai, I mean, I've only stayed at a handful, but I mean, we're now at the Al Casa in Madinat Jumeirah, and I think this is a beautiful place to come. I've not actually stayed in this hotel before, but I've been here a few times. I've had dinner in the Madinat, and
Yes.
you know, it's a wonderful area. It's a real Arabic feel to it, and every time I have visitors for the first time coming to Dubai, this is where we take them.
William, thank you so much.
Lovely.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.